Interestingly, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has made public its intention to construct a structure made of mirror glass that would stretch for 75 miles, cost $1 trillion, and stand higher than the Empire State Building. Unbelievable! But how impressive can this project be? The Neom desert metropolis in Saudi Arabia would be about the size of the state of Massachusetts, will now be known as the Mirror Line. The size of the Neom would be approximately equivalent to that of the state of Massachusetts. So what will the Mirror Line city look like? And why is it being built in the first place? This will surely stun you. Stay tuned. The plan. In the realm of architectural design, Saudi Arabia is making significant strides in effectively reimagining the status quo. According to the blueprints that were made public by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, the Mirror Line will be an essential part of the country's forthcoming zero-carbon city. Incredibly, the length of the Mirror Line is 170 kilometers, its height is 500 meters above sea level, and its width is 200 meters. It was developed as a component of the Neom project, including the renovated industrial destination known as Oxygen, a water and hydrogen system known as Enoa, and a mountain tourism structure known as Trojena. The announcement comes after Saudi Arabia recently made public its plans to construct a theme park on an unused oil rig, with attractions estimated to cost several millions dollars to persuade visitors to visit the region. On the other hand, protecting the environment is greatly emphasized in this endeavor. The groundbreaking concept which Morphosis Architects conceives is a move in the right direction towards a carbon-free paradise, which Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has previously identified as an essential national goal. In 2021, there were plans to build a city that would be considered futuristic and would not have any carbon emissions. Now the metropolis at the end of the Mirror Line will have the capacity to house 9 million people. This project is just incredible. But why build the Mirror Line? The reason. After the Industrial Revolution, cities started putting machines, vehicles, and industries ahead of humans in terms of their priorities. According to a statement that Crown Prince Mohammed made at the time, residents of cities commonly ranked as among the most developed in the world spend a sizable portion of their days commuting to and from their places of employment. Because of this, the time needed for travel will have increased by more than a factor of 3 by 2050. And because of the increasing sea levels and growing CO2 emissions, 1 billion people will have to relocate worldwide by 2050. Moreover, 90% of the population is at risk of being exposed to the hazardous effects of air pollution. According to the Crown Prince, 7 million people lose their lives yearly due to pollution. And well, there is no rational justification for the 1 million people who lose their lives on the nation's highways yearly. And so, why should we put up with wasting years of our lives on a commute that we must endure every day? After delivering such an impassioned speech a year ago, Saudi Arabia has finally revealed the first photos of the skyscraper that will be constructed. The Mirror Line comprises a pair of enormous towers, every 170 miles long and 16,000 feet tall. Inside the Mirror Line, up to 9 million people in the area will have access to transportation options that are environmentally friendly and free of emissions because of the construction of the Mirror Line, which will feature a high-speed train that travels underground. Moreover, as the project's construction continues, a vertical farm, a marina, and a sports stadium will be included. The pioneering concept of vertically stacking city activities, which Neom refers to as zero-gravity urbanism, enabled the architects to save the capability of fluid movement in all 3 dimensions. Using this framework, His Royal Highness and the Board of Directors of Neom intend to overlay public parks and pedestrian spaces, schools, houses, and places of employment to provide residents of the line with access to all amenities within a 5-minute walking distance of one another. This will make it possible for residents to walk to any amenity in the line. During the introduction of the Line project in 2017, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman stated that they had committed to a civilizational revolution based on a fundamental shift in urban planning that emphasizes people. He said that this shift would be at the center of the revolution. And now that the design for the city's vertically stacked settlements have been made public, they will serve as a model for greater human livability and the preservation of nature. The line will discuss the challenges that individuals face in the contemporary urban context and will showcase better living choices that are easily available. Evidently, NEOM is leading the battle to deliver cutting-edge solutions to solve the livability and environmental difficulties facing our cities. These challenges cannot be ignored, and NEOM is at the forefront of the struggle to find a solution. But here's the interesting part: the cost. The Mirror Line won't be available anytime soon, or at an affordable price shouldn't come as much of a surprise. First, estimates of how long it will take and how much it will cost to build the Mirror Line show that it might take up to 30 years and cost up to $1 trillion in total. Now you might be wondering, how will it be financed in the first place? The prince predicted that the first phase of the metropolis would cost $458 billion. In the final 3 months of last year, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia was to reach out to sovereign wealth funds to raise part of the remaining money that was necessary. He mentioned that in addition to funding from the private sector, it would also be backed by an initial public offering that would take place in 2024. Moreover, Saudi Arabia is setting aside $114 billion for a fund that would invest in NEOM-related companies. The bigger picture. The people living in NEOM will have speedy and uncomplicated access to all the conveniences offered by the city, which would make their daily lives less complicated. It is projected that the city's services will be able to accommodate up to 9 million residents, and each one of these services will make use of artificial intelligence. This carbon-neutral metropolis makes the most efficient use of available space and finds solutions to all the problems associated with the existing megacities. At first glance, one is astounded by the carbon-free metropolis, innovative structure, and the technological improvements that have been made. Challenges facing the project. And well, despite the initiative's creativity, many people feel that it is the most expensive project for relations fraud that has ever been committed. Some critics think that Saudi Arabia's resistance to the climate deal reached in Paris might be explained by the fact that the country is one of the most polluting nations in the world. The current leader of NEOM, bin Salman, has expressed a desire to assist the Saudi Arabian monarchy in adapting to the effects of climate change and diversity in its economy. NEOM vehemently opposed the concept when it gained a lot of attention by stating that even if the area would be a special economic zone, it would still be part of the kingdom and be governed by all laws pertaining to security, defense, and border protection, even if it were a special economic zone. This is because the area would still be part of the kingdom even if it were a special economic zone. But still, why does the subject of NEOM generate so much controversy? Well, because of NEOM's shifting priorities over the years, there is widespread skepticism among industrial experts regarding the likelihood that the line will ever be finished. The Mirror Line project, on the other hand, is without a doubt the most incredible piece of architectural work that has ever been produced. The Mirror Line project certainly has a lot of people talking. So what do you think about the city? Would you want to live in such a place? And can Saudi Arabia complete this mega project? Comment below. Also, please leave a like, subscribe, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell. See you in the next video.